Welcome, acolytes. As you can see, I am making a video about Mudahars. Well, the disaster that Twitch actually caused here, and I don't know what it is exactly, but Mudahar will explain it like the nice, normal man he is. So, as it is, let's just start and see what he has to say.
I was going to say it like it is. Artistic nudity, okay? That's what we're talking about. Now, for the longest time, we know that Twitch TV has pretty much been a softcore website.
Yes.
With some rather risque material that shows up all the...
Wait. No way. They allow this now. They allow literal, like, nudity, like... You know what I mean, what I want to say, porn, and... Do I understand this right? Is this... No effing way, like, come on. Okay.
The time, okay? And it always seems like it is a consistently escalating trend, right? We started off with, a little bit of softcore, suggestive material, the hot tub stuff. And now we're sitting at a point where I'm not even joking with you. We are now basically showing up topless onto streams. Now, you may not have known of the streamer Morkpie, but I'm actually adding a mosaic blur effect just because she's not wearing a shirt in this situation. Now, this is a live stream that has been going on Twitch TV for a little bit, and it's kind of been a new trend. The topless meta trend is what they say. Mm-hmm. So, again, to understand, most people have been a little bit outraged by this because it's been a situation where we've asked Twitch, what are the standards? What are the rules, right? Normally, a video like this, a stream like this, would probably...
Of course you're asking that, because Twitch is so extremely unclear about everything. And I mean, literally, a woman gave head or even effed... I don't remember, what was it? She either effed or gave head to a guy and got a ban for 1 week. That's nothing. That's laughable. You never should show things like that on the stream. And I don't care if you're a woman or a guy, but let's be honest here, most of the time women do this stuff because they can get easy clout because of it. And I mean, even the biggest streamers like Pokimane, she has literally like softcore things in it. She shows her breasts like it's a freaking contract or something. She gets money. Yeah, she gets money for it. Like it's a contest, for F's sake. It's just, what the F? Yeah? So I am actually happy if they just control it and say, okay, these are the rules, this is what you can do and what you actually cannot do. This is something I'm actually for.
Probably be more relegated to something like, I don't know, the Hub, so to speak, or any adult website, not Twitch TV, which has historically been known to be a gaming live streaming website. Now, obviously, in the last few years, Twitch has basically become a site where you can stream, even if you're not playing video games. You can be just chatting, you can be doing art, you can be making music, and that's all fine and dandy. But usually there's always like this limitation where people know that as long as you're not uploading softcore pornography or really anything of that nature, you got to keep things strictly in that PG-13 territory. There are mature broadcasts, but even with platforms like YouTube where you can make mature content, you absolutely cannot upload sexually suggestive materials, right?
Yeah,
even
this
on
makes
YouTube,
sense,
there are rules. And even with YouTube, I know there's been situations very recently where people have been shaving their buttholes on stream, or not stream, but on video. And the reality of that is as long as on YouTube you haven't uploaded anything that is directly, suggestive, then YouTube will let that stay on for educational purposes, which I've had my own disagreements with, but I understand that is like the hardline limitation. But with Twitch, now they're blending the rules and mixing in some of the most suggestive material inside their updated sexual content policy. And let's take a look at that. Updating our approach to sexual content and content classification labels. Oh boy, we have received consistent feedback from streamers that our current policies around content are confusing. Thank you! Yes, everyone is confused. People are wondering why certain streams get banned and why certain ones don't.
Yeah.
We want streamers to feel confident in understanding our rules, so they're streamlining their policies. So what is the streamlined sexual content policy? To be effective, policies need to be easy to understand so that a streamer knows what is allowed on the site and what is not allowed on the site. Part of the confusion comes from the fact that there are currently 2 separate policies in the community guidelines that address this kind of content. There is also an additional section in the content classification guidelines that describes when a streamer needs to label their content as including sexual themes. Going forward, the suggestive content and explicit content policies will be consolidated into one policy. Bro, what is this, the U.S. legal system? Why do we have multiple different points? Just make it simple. Thankfully, that's what they're going for. So let's see what's actually
I don't think they make it, by the way.
So we launched content classification labels back in June, and in recognition that some content that is allowed on our service may not be suitable for all audiences. We believe that accurate content labeling is key to helping viewers get the experience they expect. And now that we can enable appropriate labeling of this content using CCLs, we believe that some of the restrictions in our former policies are no longer required. So in addition to providing clarity, these updates will also reduce the risk of inconsistent enforcement, which has been a massive issue for Twitch, by the way. People are wondering, how do the rules apply for every creator? If it's not consistent, people are going to dog on it as they rightfully should.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure the homepage, which is often the first page the viewers land on, is more aligned with viewer expectations. To address this, we're updating the criteria used for homepage recommendations. Streams that are labeled as including drug intoxication, so people doing like drinking streams, excessive tobacco use, obviously you understand that, violent and graphic depictions, gambling, and or sexual themes will no longer be included in homepage recommendations shelves due to the visual nature of these topics.
So basically they won't be included, but they are still allowed. Got it.
Labeled as including mature rated games and profanity will not be affected by this update unless a streamer has also selected one of the labels bolded above. All right, fair enough. So you can play like M-rated games. It's just these specific topics will never get recommended on the homepage. So what's changing with the new update? Some type of content that were prohibited will now be allowed on Twitch if appropriately labeled. Okay, so here's what's allowed now. Content that deliberately highlighted breasts, buttocks, and pelvic region, even when fully clothed. Streamers found it difficult to determine what was prohibited and what was allowed, and often evaluating whether or not a stream violated the portion of the policy was subjective. The former policy was out of line with industry standards and resulted in female-presenting streamers being disproportionately penalized. I am actually assuming this means people who do like body art. So
no, like, come on, that's just some freaking... You know what, F it. This is just some bullshit, because, let's be honest here, who did it the most times? It were females. Because, yes, of course, if you can, you will just do it, because you can show your cleavage and get more viewers that way. Of course they're gonna do it. It's the sensible thing to do. If it's allowed, it makes sense to do it. Now, am I for them doing it? No, because it doesn't make sense for me that you would want to watch something like that on Twitch, because you have sites where you can see more better things for free.
Back like, well, it still happens, but there are body art streamers where people basically show up naked, and the whole unintended point at times is to look at them naked, but since they're body painting, that is considered artistic in nature. But, you know, people find ways. Fictionalized, fully exposed female-presenting breasts or genitals and buttocks regardless of gender, there is a thriving artist community on Twitch, and this policy was overly punitive and did not reflect the impact of the content. So this is a great point. This is the art section of Twitch, and there's a reason why it's all blurred, okay? That's because this is all filled with nudity across the board. Human nudity, fox nudity, alien nudity, furry nudity, every type of nudity at the moment. Because of this rule change, there have been so many people that have been experimenting with the artistic nudity that it is downright insane. To show you how little Twitch thought of this point, they don't even blur these thumbnails automatically. So you could be somebody
No
that,
way.
again, even if you're not a kid, you're just an adult and you click on the art section, all of a sudden you're just blasted with NSFW imagery because of this new rule change. Like, if
Damn.
you're going to mark yourself as a mature stream, which you can, at least auto blur those thumbnails before you, like, you know, just plaster somebody's page with straight up NSFW material.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
right here, they also allow body writing. So when they were doing like the hot tub streams, and you could write like, you know, the simp's name on your body or whatever, that's there. Erotic dances that involve disrobing or disrobing gestures, such as strip teases. Okay. Woo! Changes to popular dances. Popular dances such
Okay.
as twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are now allowed without a label. Previously, some dances were prohibited and others were allowed with a label. Enforcing on dances regardless of context meant our policies prohibited twerking at a wedding. Oh man, gotta shake that behind. Okay.
Shake
The
that
most
booty.
important day of your life. Oh my god. Why?
Oh.
Hold on. Or taking a pole dancing exercise class. For example, the policy now takes context into consideration and only prohibits streaming inside of an adult entertainment establishment. So, as long as you
No
ain't
way.
pole dancing in a old strip club, you know, the vanilla unicorn
can
from
pole
GTA
dance,
5,
no.
you should technically be allowed to do some erotic pole dances on Twitch.
This is so stupid.
Which, may I remind you, this is a video gaming live streaming website, and now we're getting into pole position, okay? Insanity. So then they go
Yeah,
with the
a bit.
updates to the content policy or artistic depictions of nudity allowed. Content with a focus on fictionalized body parts, regardless of gender, are allowed with a sexual themes label.
Okay.
So I feel like anybody that wants to do like, you know, furry hentai on Twitch, because it's fictionalized, obviously, you know,
Yep.
regardless of gender, I guess it's allowed, okay? But the
Yep.
acts, that's prohibited, okay? So you can draw full body parts, okay? You can draw a 6-inch foxcock. So what isn't allowed on Twitch, which was the most important thing to me, was obviously video games where the core focus is literally actually like the act itself. That's not okay, which makes sense. Users may not engage in simulated activity with other players in online games. So again, even with video gaming, they're not allowing. It's like the nudity aspect is totally okay. It's just the turning it into the act itself. That's where the problems kind of arise, and that's where Twitch is still putting a hardline stop on. Now, at the end of the day, the homepage seems like it's pretty cleared up, but if you're on the just chatting section, scroll down, and it's not hard to see that, you know, some of the streams include some of these like topless streamers right now. And this is just par for the course. You know, there's people who are taking advantage of it, and they're calling it a day. One of the actual streams over here you can click on, and I'm not signed into Twitch, but to show you that there is actually no proper age gating going on, which can be an issue. The mature gauge gate is so laughably hilarious that literally it'll just plaster you with this disclaimer. Even if you're not signed in, you just click the start watching button and you're in. Literally no more gate than this. Now, on the surface, I'm somebody that's like, okay, cool, less censorship, whatever. The thing about Twitch is there's no actual age gating, right? To give you an idea, Twitch is a website that is designed for the age.
Don't get me wrong. And I know what he wants to say, because this website is designed for little children. 13 years, if I, as he started to say. And that's just not okay. Like, come on, a normal human being would say the same thing. Like, don't give them don't let children go to that content. And I really hope there will be some things, like someday, some rules for this, because I am also against like rule ban, doing that much rules and such, but it's just going too far at this point. Like, come on, we really want to show our children this stuff? Come on. Like, really, come on. This no.
Ages 13 and up. And from what I read with this policy, it's a policy where they basically said, listen, We're not going to be as filthy as like OnlyFans, for instance, just a little bit less dirty than it, okay? At the end of the day, this is designed to loosen up restrictions to allow for this kind of sexually suggestive content. Now, I have my own personal situations where, like, when you produce this kind of content, the viewers that you draw in are usually individuals that are lonely, that are just throwing up tons of cash all the time anyways.
Yeah.
It almost feels a little bit predatory in my opinion, but that's a whole different situation. Going into the just chatting section now, it doesn't take a long scroll to find that there are streams that are literally just individuals in bikinis, quite literally shirtless at times, and that's pretty much what's expected after this policy change. Now, the age gating is the real issue, personally, for me. The fact that there are websites like OnlyFans, which will require you to use a credit or debit card, even to subscribe to, like, free tiers. And that's literally designed as a quick filter to sort of negate somebody that's under the age of 18 simply signing up for your website and seeing adult material. Now, it's not foolproof. Obviously, children have access to a debit card or a credit card, but the idea here is you try to do the best you possibly can. I don't expect Twitch or really any website to start taking identification cards, government-issued IDs, or passports in order to verify ages. That would be insane, and that also wouldn't be legal considering that some of these users are children. That said, on the other hand, I think for a lot of my Twitch streamer friends who like want to see the long-term side of this like site grow, I think the scary part about this is Twitch's more lax view on, you know, suggestive materials. I think that when it comes to material that hits the adult territory, look, I like less censorship the better, but usually when it comes to that mix between advertisers keeping your site alive versus, you know, this, I guess, laissez-faire mentality, you have to find a healthy in-between. Even with extreme violence in video games, there are game franchises that you cannot play on, you know, Twitch or even YouTube for that matter right now. As far as I understand, for a site like Twitch, any game that's adults only, like for instance the adults only cut of Manhunt 2 for PC, that wouldn't be allowed. Games that have extreme violence or extreme, like, you know, principles within them, they're not ever going to be allowed on the website too. And this policy is basically skirting up as close as we can get to straight up near pornography, which is literally the only thing that I have to throw in, right? For a website that caters itself to a audience that is also under 18, flashing them with potential like lap dances, right, that they can literally buy through a website. We are literally turning Twitch into another cam website, and that can be a little risky for the advertisers and maybe even the long-term health of the website right there. Look, at the end of the day, probably. This is just Twitch capitulating to like a few people on their website, basically running the user guidelines or the community guidelines to the very limit. It's been a trend, like I said at the beginning of this video, for years, right? Usually when Twitch enforces something or they put out this enforcement rule, the side that is being enforced, right, being encroached upon, will try to touch as close as they can without ever hitting the ban hammer. This reads like Twitch is capitulating in quite possibly one of the worst ways that it could actually capitulate, on this topic at least. Look, at the end of the day, I'm sure that, you know, my personal belief is obviously a lot of these streamers are kind of doing it to make a buck off of the rather lonely fan base.
And let's be honest, that's it. Because yes, of course, you will have always people that are desperate, so... You know how it is.
That is sticking around throwing, you know, tons of dollars to people that are probably going to say their name once and call it a day. But, you know, that's a whole different topic right there. Look, this is Twitch rewriting its rulebook, or I guess loosening itself up for things that I think it should have made a hardline stance on. But I just want to know what you guys think about it. That would be an interesting focal point. I really want to see if the community now in 2023 is generally just okay with this. And if that's the case, that's absolutely fine. I am, however, worried about the advertisers for Twitch in the future. I know that when it comes to sites like YouTube, when it comes to really many like mainstream websites, and Twitch is not a small website by any endeavor.
Oh, no.
Whenever you have content that looks like this showing up on recommendations, people get a little worried, right? Like big brands get a little bit worried. But it's time to see how this goes. Maybe this might actually be beneficial for Twitch. Maybe they can monetize their creators a little bit more.
Let's hope so.
Maybe they can take advantage of some of these streams, which do make good money. No, don't get me wrong. Maybe that can help buff up Twitch's bottom line. Honestly, wild situation that we're looking at. But that being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I have to say.
I'm gonna say it's a very, very big maybe, and I don't think like... I think as long as this stuff doesn't get regulated, it will just be the same, and it's just... I don't know. I don't want to sound like an old fart that actually never likes anything that's new, but... For F's sake, just don't think just about yourself, but also because at the end of the day, children are actual the future. If you like it or not, if you're an old fuck, you sadly have to you have to accept it that this generation will actually hold you up. They are, after that, with you. They will stay with you, they will take care of you, and, well, if they are losers, this will be a really hard time. So let's just hope this won't shock anyone, but as it is, acolytes, good night.